Hey everybody, it's a great day to try a new bread recipe. I'm not even sure what this one is called, but I was going through, my mother had this one recipe book that she used a lot. And I was going through it and I was finding magazine and newspaper art of recipes that she obviously ripped out and tucked into her recipe book. So I've been going through some of those and trying them. This is a bread recipe that in the end, it looked really pretty. I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but we're going to try it. So the first thing was I took a cup of milk and you needed to add 2 teaspoons of yeast and 4 teaspoons of sugar. And I was using active dry yeast, which meant I had to proof it. So I warmed up the milk to 94 degrees and then added the yeast and the sugar, and it looks like it's bubbly, so that means it's working. I'm whisking that together. Then I'm adding 1 egg and 1 egg white. I already separated 1 egg, and the yolk is for later before the little bread things go in the oven. We're gonna spread them with egg yolk and milk so they're nice and shiny. So we're going to add the egg to there, get that mixed in, and I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of vanilla. I love vanilla. It smells great, tastes great. And we're going to mix that all together. There we go. Just want to make sure that egg is mixed in well. And then I have a cup of flour. We're going to mix this all together and then we'll knead it. And we're going to let that rise for an hour. So, and don't you worry, I'll come back and show you what to do after it rises. Let's get this flour incorporated into the liquid. And I have the feeling this is kind of a sweet bread because there is a little bit of sugar in it and there's vanilla flavor in it. Not a lot, so. All right, there we go. Now we're going to add a little more flour. Oops, I left it over here. So we're going to slowly add more flour until it's a sticky dough. And there we go. That's getting. Oop, and flour went flying on the counter. For some reason, flour never stays in the bowl or the cup when I'm using it. Okay, I think that should be good. We'll see though. Then we're just going to put a little flour on this surface. And also on my hands. It's definitely sticky. I got to figure out how I'm going to get it out of this bowl. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, this is definitely a sweet bread because it's much stickier than if you're making rolls or biscuits. All right, here we go. So we're just going to keep rolling this around in the flour. Move this out of the way. I really like this dough. I'm just going to keep kneading, patting, until, let's see, I just want it to be a nice, pliable, yeah, there we go. It's getting there. You just need a lot of flour on the, there. So this is kind of fun. All right, so once this is ready, I'm just actually going to leave it on this counter. I'm going to cover it with my clear bowl so I can kind of watch it along the way. And I'm going to leave it for an hour, let it rise a little bit. Then when I come back, we're going to continue this whole process of, I can't wait to get to the part where I can make the little cuts in the dough. And it's not really a braid, but this cool, the pictures made it look cool. All right, so that's how you want it to look. And I'm going to put this over it. We'll wait and see what happens. Okay, we're back. We're going to now try to complete the bread making. All right, so here's our dough. And it says to cut this into 6 pieces. So I'm just going to go like this. Well, let me just, I'm going to put a little more flour down here. There we go. All right, so we're flattening this out into a circle. And we're going to divide it into 6, hopefully equal pieces. Struggling here. All right. And then we're supposed to take each piece and roll it into a ball. So let's see. Okay, so we're going to take each one of these pieces, roll it into a ball. I'm just going to move it over here because I'm just going to do one right now, so you don't have to watch me do each one individually. Then what we're going to do is roll this out into a circle. It's a little. And, well, I think that's going to be good. I guess we'll find out when it's done, right? Okay, so I'm going to fold this over. So it's now in a semicircle. And then I'm going to make cuts. About, let's see, I think that's good. So if you can see, I'm trying to make them as equal as possible. Just straight cuts. It almost reminds me of when I was in elementary school and you would do paper cutting projects. All right, so this is what it looks like. I'm just going to start on one end. Go into this other side here. It's not really braiding, but kind of. I've never done this. It's kind of looking weird, but we'll just keep going and give it a go. I'll have to go back to the illustration to see. What I'm doing wrong. And luckily we're at the end here. Okay, then it says to fold this open and you roll each side to the center of what you just did. Put it together. Oh goodness. Kind of pinch it closed. Flip it over. And then get that in together. All right, I'm going to put this on my parchment lined baking sheet. And then I'm going to do the other ones. When I'm done, I'm going to brush it with the egg yolk and a little bit of milk mixture, and we'll pop them in the oven. All right, I'll be back. Okay, we're going to try another one to see if I can make it prettier, because that first one I did, I'm not happy with. So here we are. I rolled it out into a circle. I cut the little pieces, and we're going to start on this end. I'm going to be a little more careful. So that's going down there. As you put one through, you just gently put the side down of the other one. So let's see if this turns out a little better. Kind of. It looks a little better to me. I guess we'll see when we're done. And I suppose this just takes practice like anything. I'll have to keep practicing until it looks really beautiful. But it's definitely better than the last one I did. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of go like this. Leave that there. And now I'm opening this. And I'm just going to very carefully roll each side up to where I'm just going to call it a braid. It kind of reminds me of a braid. Here we go. And then you gently roll them up and together. And this is where you want to seal the edges gently. I can already tell that this one's better than the first one I did. So again, I guess it's true. The more you practice, the better you get at it. Okay. Now we'll flip it over. Oh yeah, that's much better. It's still not great, but much better. So I'm going to take this end loop that I left and just loop it around there. Yeah, it definitely looks better. All right, I'm going to do the rest of them, and then I'll pop them in the oven and show you what they look like when they come out. All right, so I have them all braided. I don't know if you can see them, but I definitely got a little bit better as I went on. But right now, all I'm going to do before I pop these in the oven is I have this egg yolk and just like a spoonful of milk. So I'm just going to brush them. And the directions said 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm going to check them at 8 just to make sure everything's looking okay. And when they come out, I will definitely turn on the video so that you can see how they look. And I hope that as they bake, the braided part looks better. Maybe it'll look like I knew what I was doing. It did get easier because then I figured out which loops I had to go under and over. All right, everybody, I'll be back. They are out of the oven. They're looking good. I'm so excited about this. I want you to take a look. The first one I did even looks good, this one, but the last one I did looks even better. So just keep practicing. Don't give up. They'll turn out great. You just gotta give it a go. All right, friends, go make some braided bread and be shiny. Make some braided bread.